Hey, my name is Jelena, and welcome to Confetti Conversations, a new type of interview series that mixes conversation with confetti to celebrate the beautiful mess of being human. I'm your host and the creator of the Confetti Project, where for the past 10 years, I've been on a mission to bring play back into adulthood, with photo shoots, workshops, and now this series. Today's guest is Bonani, a New York City-based creator that brings humor, honesty, and play into the realities of dating and navigating your 30s. We actually met when I was in my early 20s. In today's episode, we dive into holding on to your childlike self while navigating adulthood, the roller coaster of social media, and the freedom that comes with dropping the shame and owning your story. This is for you if you've ever wrestled with self-doubt and just want to feel comfortable in your own skin. Welcome to your new favorite playdate. Our brain does a really crazy thing, which is like protect us from pain.
Then apparently my whole life is like that, because I don't remember most things.
My entire childhood fragmented.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember, I think my earliest memory is like 7 or 8.
No, I don't understand when people talk about early childhood memories. I don't have them.
Okay, so I would typically start with, what was little Emily like? Like, how would you describe you as a child?
It was weird. I was extremely like rambunctious and very like loud and loved to like perform and dance and like be the center of attention. I loved all those things, but in a lot of social situations like school and dance class, I was really shy, and I feel like I was like the bullied friend. Like I always was like choreographing a show. I was super imaginative. I wrote a lot. Like I was definitely very creative and very imaginative and very like in my own world.
As you were growing up, because I really feel like who we were as kids are like our compass to who we really are. Like I'm always trying to get back to that version of myself, right? Like unlearning things. Yes. Like how did you start kind of disconnecting from yourself and your power, like as you started growing up?
I actually think that I have held on to it more than most. I definitely felt like I've held on to who I was as a child pretty strongly. Like I never tried to waver or become someone different. There were like a couple times that, yeah, maybe, but like overall, I always think I stayed. Like, cause I will say, like I was shy and bullied, but as soon as I went to high school at like 15, I became like very like popular and like talking to everyone and like very like talkative and very extroverted. And I think that the main thing, honestly, has just been navigating how to take that childlike self that I feel like I was lucky enough to be able to nurture by going to art middle school and art high school and dancing outside of it, and like always knowing, like I never had a question in my mind that I wasn't going to do what I loved. There was never one point that I thought I was going to settle in my career, because I was like, I just won't. And so I always knew I was going to do something creative, because that seemed like the only option. And then when things started not working out, so like things like not being able to afford the college I wanted to go to, right? Going to college, being around people that were a lot more like normal, but and like there's always these two parts to me. There's like the creative part and there's the social part, and I'm extremely social, and that goes for like I'm extremely social, and I definitely crave validation from others in a degree that's never made sense to me, because I think I have always been an individual, and it's always been very confusing as to why I crave validation so much. And I think that also has to do with like putting a lot of my self-worth in like my looks, which I feel like I always have. Trying to fit in, but still never like wavering from myself. And then also trying to figure out how to make money and trying to figure out how to support myself. Like that's another way that like I've definitely wavered from my childhood self, because you kind of have to for a second. Like you have to figure out, okay, like how am I going to make this work?
Yeah, I feel like the external validation thing I needed for a really long time, and only up until recently am I learning like kind of the peace that comes with that energy going inward more. You know what I mean? Like all I need is within me. I don't need anything on the outside until I like post something.
Social media I am on a roller coaster with it every second of every day. Like like I sometimes forget that like everyone doesn't deal with it, but like that's the thing, because like there's the highs, right? There's when you make something and it goes and it does super well. And I can feel like I am on a high. When that happens, not even a high at this point, I kind of just feel like I have my feet on the ground. When I make something that does well, and I'm not even talking about like super, like if something that goes viral for sure, but especially something that I'm proud of, and those aren't necessarily always the same thing. Like something that like I'm proud of and people that like I respect and I respect their taste like it, which again, not always the same thing. I constantly am trying to figure out different ways to be more healthy with it.
Do you have any tips or suggestions for anyone watching and for me?
Yeah. Well, I should start by saying I don't have a healthy relationship with social media at
Disclaimer.
all. I would actually argue I have one of the least healthy relationships with it of anyone I know. However, that's also because I post a lot, right? Like, and I do make money from it. And I also work a full-time job where I make ads for other people for it. So it's very much like a part of my life. And then you have all the normal things of like getting like just like boys I like watching my stories or like little things like that, right? Like friends liking stuff. But I would say the thing that I learned when I'm good at it is I kind of set some rules for myself. So right now my rules are when I post, I can't check how it's doing for an hour. Horrible. Another rule is when I post, I can't remove it for a day. Because right now I'm trying to post a lot. And so, you know, when I post and like it doesn't do well, it's like I also have to just sit with the fact that like I have a video that's in my mind not good out there. And because also like you keep checking. And if I know I can't remove it for a day, it's like, well, you know what, who cares?
But do you ever feel that like you're really proud of a video and it didn't do how you thought it would?
Yes. And I still struggle with whether or not I'm missing something about the video. Because I will say, every video that has ever gone viral or done really well, I've known it was going to. Like, I've known it was good before I posted it. Like, and I have this feeling. And I'll get hard on myself when I don't have that feeling for a while, right?
But isn't it a lot of pressure to create something that always conjures up that feeling?
Well, I think it's a craft, like anything else, right? Yeah. So sometimes I hit it and sometimes I don't. And then I'll look at other people who I feel like are hitting it constantly. And it's like they just figured it out, you know, and I just haven't fully figured it out yet. Advice though, like in going back to that, I also would say like really, and this I would say I'm very good at, like you need to not care at all what people are gonna think. Like you just need to not care. That's the biggest thing. And I think I'm better at that than a lot of people I know. But I know I even need to get a lot better at that, you know? Like, you just need to not care what people are thinking because that will trap you and that will send you into a spiral. Also, stop being, get off the pedestal. Get off the high horse. The amount of people I talk to that won't post on social media because they think it's cheap, and it is, right? But then, like, it opens so many doors when you're, like, posting that it's like, you know, it's like the people, that is the way that the world works right now.
Okay, so what have you learned about yourself through this?
There is no world where I'm alive and I'm not creating. I love to create and like share and like it just so happens that like digital media is a way that you can do it and monetize it. Like, and I make money from it, which is just like crazy that we live in that time.
Like for anyone that wants to be a content creator or really involved in social media, like, how does that affect your mental health? Like, I know you're very vocal about your anxiety, overthinking, spiraling, like all of that. One of my favorite videos that was the most relatable for me was when you were talking about like waking up and feeling a certain way and going on a run.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and like that whole like process of like, all right, like David Goggins, like that wore off. And then I put this one song on and it was pretty much, you're talking about a very serious topic, right? Something like suicidal ideation or, whatnot. And you're like humanizing it, right? And you're taking the shame out of it and like how you can cope and soothe. So I know a lot of this is like, for the metrics and success, but like if you just took that away for a second, like you, like your relationship with you, like what's that like?
That video was during a month that I had last year that was, I truly was like, this might be too dark, but like I was very nervous I was gonna do something like bad. And I think I always knew I wouldn't, right? But it was the most in a very, 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 very long time that I genuinely felt like nervous about that. That video is such a good example of like, I made this video in saying like, I woke up wanting to, you know, do something bad. And I went on a run, and like with each mile, like, you know, I just did 3 miles on the treadmill, but each mile was the hardest thing I'd ever done. And like, I couldn't even pick like a song. And then I ended up picking a song that one of my old crushes wrote. And that's what like, you know, that's what carried me through. And it makes me feel so much like when I repackage it like that, I often do that for myself, even if I don't post it. And I will say it's helped me so much deal with shame and knowing that other people deal with it too. Making it comedic has really helped me like be able to like pick myself up and move on and move to the next thing. Because I'm 31, right? And I think that like something you learn in life is just like there's just always more and more and more, and like you're not even done getting over the last thing and there's another thing, and you just have to become bulletproof. And for me, a way of becoming bulletproof is by turning it into like a fun story.
Now that like you're in your 30s, what have you learned about yourself? How have you kind of accepted, embraced, become more compassionate about yourself, or at least just discovered more about yourself?
I kind of very much like realized like I have to try harder and I have to achieve like my dreams, because there's no other option, because they're not going away. I think when you're younger, you think that like something's gonna happen to change it. And like, I'm the exact same as I've always been. Like I was actually with my high school photography teacher last night. He was in town, and I was telling him, I was like, I honestly feel closer to me at 18 now in a much more mature way, in a much more compassionate and like empathetic way than I did when I was like 25. But so I think really focusing, like, it's funny how like reverting back to your childlike self and giving yourself the space to be creative and like goes hand in hand with getting more serious. Like it goes hand in hand with maturity. Like I feel like as I'm becoming more mature, I'm also being able to play more. And so I'm trying to navigate that. Another thing is I think I've let go of a lot of things. Like I've had to let go, and by that I mean I've had to let go of hoping certain things happen for me. Because I've needed to reprioritize.
Well, are you ready to play with confetti?
Sure, yeah.
Shall we do it? So how do you feel?
Great, that was so much fun. I love that so much. No, I feel so comfortable jumping around in confetti, especially on a white background with color, like in like a blank space, like a blank canvas with these colored additions. Yeah, I really enjoy it so much. I feel so like at home doing that.
Why do you think it's so important to use joy and play to like navigate the ebbs and flows of life?
Oh, well, because life is very dark. There's only two ways to deal with the darkness in the world, I think. One of them is just by completely shutting it off and choosing ignorance, you know? And letting things just kind of fester and projecting and letting it live inside of you, and then it comes out in cheating, in toxicity, in addiction, in all these different things. And then it gets passed down for generations often, and then it affects everyone else, and that's one. And then two is play. And I think play in the sense of like seeing everything through like a optimistic lens, or seeing everything through a playful lens, which kind of like lets you take your joy back, especially right now with what we're dealing with, like with the world. It is so dark and like it is so hard to like grasp. And the only way to take your power back that you have control over is by finding how to give yourself joy. And I think the only way to give yourself joy that's not contingent on someone else giving you that joy is by finding out how to have fun and feel free and feel playful within yourself.
If you could tell anyone watching this, like a piece of advice or an insight of like how to live authentically and joyfully, what would you say?
I mean, you need to stop shaming yourself. Like, you need to stop shaming yourself. Do I? You need to stop shaming yourself. I'm talking to me. You. Yeah, no, you need to stop shaming yourself. Stop with the shame. Because the thing is like, let's say you cheat on someone, okay? Let's say you do something bad and you feel so much shame and guilt, right? That is how you cheat again. By having that shame and guilt, because you're gonna focus on all of that shame and in your brain, you're gonna be like, well, I am this person now. If you make a mistake, and let's say it's not even a mistake, let's say you knew it was wrong. If you do something that, whether it hurts someone else or you're the only one that's affected by it, you can say like, this was, okay, I don't wanna be someone that does this. And then you literally need to move on. Because if you don't move on, and I speak from complete experience, if you don't move on, then you do become that person. Because then your life is just your thoughts. So you're just gonna keep thinking about that thing you did, and so you're gonna do it again. So that's the most important thing. And I say this to I say this even like to my friends when they're like trying to, you know, like if they do something that's like out there, or like, you know, I can be like, that was a choice, you know? I'm like, it doesn't, like the most important thing is you drop the shame. You drop and you just own it. And that's the thing, you have to own the shitty things you do in life.
What would like little Emily tell current Emily right now?
I will say my 5-year-old self, or like my childhood self, like would definitely be like, if I were to ask her advice or something, she would just be like, this is what we love. Like, this is who we are. This is what we love. So keep going. Oh my God.
So we just throw it up?
Yeah, throw it up. Okay.
Ready?
Go. Woo! Oh. Yay! Celebration!
Thank you so much for getting to the end of this episode. It really means so much to me. Please comment, like, share it with someone that needs more play in their life. And stay tuned for new episodes every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Thank you.